that one. Kia ora and welcome into this week's module, carrying on the theme of land connectedness. I am just a whole flock of birds just flew. I'm going to show you where I am. We're coming at you from Central Otago today, and we have a bluebird day in the mountains. It is a stunner, gorgeous rock that I was just pointing at, and an introduction to this week and what it's all about. So this week is academically spacious on purpose because it is really inviting you to have your own experiences with nature. And it would be complete disrespect to nature for me to not allow her to continue to show you even deeper the connection that you can have with her. You could read all the academic texts in the world, watch as many videos as you like, but nothing, absolutely nothing, is going to replace you literally being in nature. And I know that can be a struggle sometimes, especially if you're in a cold place and it's winter, and maybe you're watching this inside your warm, cozy home and you're thinking like, Sarah, I'm not getting up and going outside right now. And I'm going to say, are you sure? Like, really, you could totally do it, right? When I was working in the outdoors, I used to say that there was no such thing as bad weather, right? Just bad clothing, bad planning, and bad attitude. So if you can conquer those three, right, go get some good clothing, get really excited and involved in this, and go have your own experience. Like, really, really go connect with the places that are around you and just see and experience what it is that you learn, what it does for your mood, what it does for your connection into the place that's around you. So the activities for this week are below. You are encouraged to do all of them. So it would be helpful if you pre-plan some of these. So the walking practice, the sensory walking practice, you could do in your lunch break or walking on your way home, but it wants to be somewhere in nature, as best as you can. If you live in the middle of the city, then you can go to a park, just somewhere where you can connect in with natural things. The other activities, the sit spot, is really helpful if it's actually really close to where you live, because it means it's going to make it way more accessible, and the actual invitation or the hope, potentially even the goal here, is that you might continue to use these practices for your connection to the land, for your mental, emotional, spiritual well-being, that whole hauora, right, that from that te whare tapewha. And with the sit spot, the closer it is to your home, the more accessible it is, the more likely you're going to go there. So let me I'll break down all these practices individually, but just know that they come from place-based education, outdoor education, wilderness therapy, adventure therapy, ecotherapy. So quite common practices. They can be relatively simple in practice, but the depth of what you can experience is limitless. And so they can be really profound in their own way. And I think a lot of it depends on your mentality going in, how open you are. So I just encourage you to stay with an open mind, stay with some curiosity. Right now you might be thinking like, what are we even doing? Why are we doing this? I can't believe she's going to make me like go out and get cold and wet. You may be sitting there loving this idea and thinking like, wow, this is so cool that we get to do this for study and literally learn from the land that we are connecting to. So you could be having a whole range of experiences right now. I am welcome and open to hearing all of them. And also notice your response, right? Do you feel defensive? Do you feel like you want to get sort of angry or find all the things that are wrong with us? Do you want to not do it and run away? Make excuses? So just noticing your own responses, your own patterns here. Okay, so yeah, let's start with the sit spot. Close to home. I recommend getting something to sit on. I use it's called a closed foam cell mat. It's those kind of blue thermal insulation mats that you get to go camping, that you sleep on, a sleeping mat. But anything will do. And yeah, rug up, get some warm clothes, and go into your sit spot. Minimum 15 minutes. They say that it takes 15 minutes for the mind just to start to settle and drop into the landscape, drop into the space. But you can stay there as long as you would like. And the beauty or the simplicity of this practice is that there is not a lot of guidance in what you, I guess, quote unquote, should experience, because everything that you experience is welcome and valid, and that's exactly your experience, right? That's exactly what the land is maybe communicating with you, or what or how you are experiencing or receiving the land in that moment. What you can do is just really have a good look around and just notice, right? Notice the things that you might not have noticed before. Any thoughts that come up, moods. That's all you're doing. So just sitting there, seeing what you experience. Okay, very little guidance for this one. When you get, if you want to make this a regular practice, it is super cool to keep going to your sit spot in different times of day, different weathers. It's like the more you keep going back to that one place, the more you build experiences, connections, and seeing it in all its beauty and all its different shades can help feel like you're in relationship with it more. The second practice is a walking sensory practice. So pop on your headphones, pop your phone in your pocket, and go for a walk. And make it in nature, and just follow along with the guidance. So this is a contrast to the sit spot, which doesn't have a lot of guidance. The walking is very much guided, and you can again just see what your experience is. If you haven't done a lot of mindfulness or connecting, or I guess feeling in this way, perhaps you came to this course with some expectations that it was going to start off being, very academically rigorous, and I assure you that we do get to some theory, but this is the foundation for it all, right? How you feel in nature, towards nature, connected to nature, to the land, to the place. That is what a theory is based on. This is what this course is going to be based on. So giving some space for this is important. If you haven't experienced a lot of mindfulness in this way, this may feel really uncomfortable. This may be outside of your comfort zone. That's totally okay. Again, just welcome that curiosity. All I'm asking is that you try it on and see. If you hate it, great, you hate it, right? Maybe it's not the way for you to connect with nature, but I'm just giving you a range of options for you to see what is helpful for you. And then the last practice is more, it's kind of almost in between the two, because it's not specifically guided by me, but it's not so loose that there's no structure at all. And so the one in between is that you're going into a place in nature. It can be your sit spot, it can be where you went for a walk, you can be walking, you can be sitting, but you're going in with a series of questions, or maybe just one question. I'll give you some examples of some questions that you could use. And so in this way, it's starting to bring in that intentionality. And, for many generations, Indigenous people would go into nature seeking answers. And, they say that the land speaks to those who listen. And you can't listen if you're super busy and not pausing to try. So with this one, really you can do it in your own way, but the only thing I'm going to suggest is that you go in with some sort of intentional question. And then again, be curious and open about how the answer might come to you. It might not come to you in that specific session. You may need to go out again. It may come to you later on. Like you may not understand or I guess get the message in that moment. It might be that later on in the week or that evening you're reflecting and going, oh, actually, I think I know what that means. And messages can come in all different forms, right? It could be you just see something in a slightly different way and it makes you realize something from a different perspective. Maybe it's literally you see an animal or a bird or an insect and the way that you see it means something to you. It could be that you literally want to go ask the question to something in nature. So that would look like literally talking to a tree, right? And that sounds like super hippie, alternative. You could be thinking, I'm crazy. What is this woman up to? Again, try it out. All I'm saying is try it out. So you could be talking to a tree, you could be talking to an animal. Seeing what happens. And Māori used to watch out for these signs all the time, and it was actually essential to their survival, because they could track when to plant things, the timing of when the birds were migrating were signaling when it was a good time to start to get back on the water, or to take big journeys. There was just so many ecological and very reasonable and logical explanations for why you would look for omens or messages, or to be communicating with nature, because living in harmony with the land and in harmony with what was going on was so important for survival. And there was also a spiritual element in terms of omens, in the sense of messages or guidance. So enjoy this week's practice. Again, if you're feeling any resistance to going out and then doing it, I'm going to say do it, plan it, make it happen. This is your coursework for this week. So even though it may feel a little bit more comfortable to sit back and read an article, and this may feel more uncomfortable, that's the point, right? Go out there, do it, have your experience, enjoy, and we look forward to hearing about your experiences in the live call, and hearing about that in the reflective journal as well.